Hi, everyone. I am Molly. I'm a freshman Bible theology and ministry major, and I'm going to be talking with Dr. Matt Williams. And I'm just going to let him tell us a bit about himself.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm Matt Williams. I've been here at Biola for 19 years now. Not planning on leaving. It's a great place. I have a PhD in New Testament, and I teach now Gospel of John. I teach a class on Who Am I in Christ. I used to teach New Testament survey. I've taught a lot of different classes over the years. Prior to Biola, I was a missionary in Spain. I taught over there for 6 years. And now, if I had to pick a favorite class, oh man, that's a hard one. It's like, which is your favorite son, I love teaching the Gospel of John, not just the content, but the life that's in the Gospel of John, working through life issues with students. That's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Cool. What is your favorite thing about being on staff at Biola?
Yeah. After my first year at Biola, I was interviewed by the newspaper at Biola, and they said, "What are the negative things about your first year at Biola?" And I sat there and I thought, and I said, "You know what? I seriously can't think of any," which was weird because I hadn't thought about that. Because I've taught at a lot of different places and worked at a lot of places that I didn't like. But yeah, I really like teaching at Biola. I mean, it's not perfect. There's always things. But favorites, I'll pick two. I love my colleagues. The people that I teach with they're great scholars, but they love the Lord and they love students, and they're fun. We laugh a lot when we have our faculty meetings. But probably the best thing at Biola is the students. Students who come to Biola are serious about their Christianity. You take 10 Bible classes at Biola, that's not the norm at most schools. So most of the students that come to Biola they really care about the Lord and care about ministering to people.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Biola is the place to be. Okay, so we're going to also be talking a bit about the Bible theology ministry major in general, just for any prospective students that are watching this. So would you be able to tell us a bit about the BTM major in general, and maybe a bit of a breakdown of the different concentrations?
Yeah. The Bible theology and ministry it's a big division now. Maybe if we split it up, the easy way to split it up is you can study Bible, or you can study Christian ministries. But really, those two overlap a lot. So there's quite a few concentrations now. I'll mention the three main ones. It's Christian ministries. Then there's Bible theology and biblical languages, where you get to study either Greek or Hebrew. And then there's Bible and theology, which is kind of a combination between those two, more similar to Bible theology and biblical languages, but the Bible and theology concentration, you don't have Greek, you don't have Hebrew, so no languages. So that makes it a little bit easier and a lot more attractive for many students. And then all three of those also have pathways to go on and do one extra year, and you get a master's degree at Talbot School of Theology, which is part of Biola. So you can go on and get a master's in preaching and pastoral ministries, if that's what you're in, Molly. Bible exposition, which is the English Bible track, Christian ministry and leadership, or you can get one in Old Testament or New Testament. So 5 years for both bachelor and master's.
Lots of options.
Lots of options.
So if a student were to come in as a Bible theology and ministry major, what are some of the main classes they would expect to take, or some of the main things they would expect to learn during their 4 or 5 years here?
Yeah, well, I'll start with all students take 10 Bible classes, no matter what your major is. So Bible majors, Christian ministry majors, and then everybody else. So art majors, teachers, nurses, everybody. So you start off with a biblical interpretation, how to read the Bible, and spiritual formation, how to grow as a Christian. That's your first class usually. There's a foundations of Christian thought, and then there's a survey of both Old Testament and New Testament, and then there's 2 theology classes, and then there's a class on that really emphasizes missions and evangelism. And you can take either the Book of Acts or the Gospel of John. And then there's 3 electives that you get to take. So everybody takes those 10 classes, and then Bible majors, the Bible and theology or biblical languages, they will take a foundations of ministry, another class on interpreting the Bible, biblical backgrounds, historical theology, a book on Romans, and some other classes, and then 4 different electives on whatever they want to choose in the Bible. And then Christian ministry majors, they would take, there's about 10 different classes in how to prepare to lead and serve in your church. And then all of these degrees also have practical implications where you actually minister in the church, which is great.
Yeah. So there are a lot of Bible programs out there at lots of different Christian universities. What would you say makes Biola's unique or special?
Yeah, that for me, that's the key question, because most students and parents of students in high school, when they look at different schools, they can't differentiate between Biola and any other school.
Right.
So that for me, that's a critical question. So I'll mention a couple things. One, what I said earlier, every student takes 10 Bible classes. There's only a couple schools in the United States that require that.
Mm-hmm.
So most Christian schools that you go to, you're going to take 2 or maybe 3 Bible classes, and that's it.
Yeah.
When you take 10 Bible classes, it really is a major. You're getting a double major in Bible and whatever else you take. So what that does is every student is educated and formed, and they're ready to serve. I had a class last night. It's a senior level class. Who am I in Christ? And I told them, I said, you know what I love teaching about this class is that you guys can't tell who the Bible majors are, because they're presenting. Last night we presented on justification, shepherd, and forgiveness. Mm-hmm. And I asked them, there's 24 of us sitting there in this Zoom lecture, of course, these days. And I said, hey, guess how many Bible majors there are in this class? And nobody knew, because everybody prepared and presented in such an educated way. You won't get that at other schools. It was fun. By the way, there were only 2 Bible majors in that class.
Wow.
I think most people would have guessed probably 10 or 15.
Yeah.
So that's a huge difference between Biola and other places.
Yeah, students are actually like very equipped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So then what types of careers do Bible theology ministry majors at Biola go into?
Yeah.
More than just like pastoring a church or being a missionary.
No, they can. I would say this: the Bible and theology, or Bible theology and biblical languages, about a third go on to seminary or graduate school. Some of those then go on into teaching. Some go into ministry in the pastorate, or working with various ministry organizations. About a third right after graduation go right into ministry, whether it's in the church or some parachurch ministry. And then a third about go into jobs in other fields. I have a former student. He works in software. He writes computer programs, but it's a Christian company.
Okay.
And their goal as they work with customers is to share the gospel with them. And so his ultimate goal, he's working right here in Southern California now, but he's trying to get to Madrid, Spain, to write software, but be a missionary over there. So that's pretty cool. So that's what the Bible and theology majors go into. Christian ministry majors, about 75% of them go directly into ministry roles after graduation. whether it's churches or parachurch or nonprofits. One graduate I talked to last week, she works at a YMCA right now. She's running activities at a YMCA. Some of those eventually go on to seminary, but not all of them. So a lot go directly into ministry. Some go on to grad school. Some go into other jobs. I like to think of it this way: whether you go into ministry in the church or something like that directly, or you go and you work in a business in sales. Our churches these days are biblically illiterate, and they need people who understand the Bible and who know how to read it and know how to live it and know how to teach it. And our graduates will know that.
Yeah.
So I tell my students all the time, you guys don't believe me, but you're going to teach this stuff in your church, because they're going to say, "Where'd you go to school?" "I went to Biola." And they'll say, "Where?" You go, "Biola." And they're going to say, "Tell me about that." And you go, "Well, I took 10 Bible classes." You're in. You're now the leader of the small group, and you're going to be the one teaching, and you'll be ready to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it seems like there's lots of opportunities for students post-graduation. But how are ways that students can get involved in ministry positions or internships with churches during their education at Biola?
Yeah. Well, Biola has ministry fairs all the time where churches and different groups come to Biola, camps, everything. And they sit on the sidewalks and they recruit students.
Yeah.
So you'll be walking to the cafeteria, and on one day, the sidewalk's completely filled. But other days, there'll be one or two or three sitting there. And so they're always looking for Biola students to come work. So that's an easy way. There are different departments on campus that have their whole job is to find churches or ministries for our majors to work at, to get internships at, talking to professors. Um, and then we have a required internship where the Christian Ministry Department, Dr. Dave Keene, he has relationships set up with churches all throughout Southern California. And he will link you up with one of those churches, and you'll work in one of those for your internship. So there's lots of different opportunities. I'll mention one more. National School Project, which isn't really well known, but it's a group that trains high school students how to reach their public high schools with the gospel.
Mhm.
And they're always looking for, you remember, Molly, when Benjamin came into our first year seminar and tried to recruit people. They're always looking for Biola students to help train high schoolers in how to share the gospel and how to run different events on their campuses. And they've led, literally thousands and thousands of people to the Lord.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's a cool ministry.
Yeah. So just one final question. What are some specific graduate schools or organizations that Biola students have moved on to?
Yeah, they've gone to so many. Some stay in Southern California and go, to Talbot. A lot go to Talbot School of Theology, which is part of Biola. Some go to Fuller, which is just up the street, about 20 miles or so. A lot go to Trinity Evangelical Divinity School outside of Chicago. That's where I went to school. Some go to Denver Seminary, Gordon Conwell Seminary, Dallas Theological Seminary. And then we have quite a few who go to, I'll mention one more, Wheaton. We have quite a few who've gone to Wheaton. And then a bunch go overseas, go to England to get their PhD. A lot go there. One of our students went over there, and his mentor was a guy named N.T. Wright, who's one of the leading New Testament scholars in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And he worked with him. He's written some books with him, and now he's a professor at Bethel Seminary in Minnesota. So yeah, we have people going literally all over the place.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, for those of you who are watching, that is the end of our little interview. Hopefully, if you are a prospective student looking into Biola, that gave you a bit more information about what our Bible theology and ministry program is like. We would love to provide you with some more information. You can head to our website, biola.edu, and get connected with admissions, and we would love to help you out and talk with you. But thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.